Hello, welcome to STARPOD, the Destiny podcast for the PC community. This is the first official episode. My name is Lion, and today I have Tomu and Jeff with me, who will be joining me for the first episode here. Say hello, guys.
Hey,
Hi, how's it going?
It's going good. So I thought we'd start the podcast out by just introducing ourselves a bit. If you'd like to start with that, Jeff?
alright. I started out with a Game Boy Color when I was 6, and I never stopped. Started getting competitive with Pokemon Diamond when I was number 1 in the Battle Tower for 3 months. I started playing Destiny 1 on the PS3 when it released, and eventually got a PS4 just to play Destiny.
So you bought your PS4 to just play Destiny?
That is correct.
Nice.
With the game choice he had, I don't doubt it.
I was definitely guilty of that too. I bought Destiny 1 just for PS4 as well.
Ooh.
About a year after I started playing on the PS4, I started getting good enough to really try to go competitive. And then I trained and played with some really good players, eventually scrimmaging against some of the notable names in the esports scene. I'm one of the vanguards in STARLANCE, and I live in Vermont of the USA.
Nice. Nice clean introduction there. And how about you, Tomu? Introduce yourself.
Well, I started with the PC. Well, there was a lot of little kid games because I started really young. Game Boy,
Did
this
you
and
ever
that.
play a game called, what was it, Freddy Fish? One of those edutainment games on
Oh,
PC?
God. I don't think I
Do you
did.
remember that? I think that was like installed at every preschool ever.
Oh, no,
think it was
Oregon
a-
Trail. Oregon Trail.
Oh god, Oregon Trail.
Oh man, that takes me back.
I never won
Alright.
Dysentery. Fuck it.
I think the equivalency of Freddy Fish for my school was, I think it was like Zoobles or something? Yeah.
What the fuck is
They're
that?
like little pink bubbles that just sort of like went around, and you spent the entire game just completing like educational quests in order to get more Zoobles.
Zoobles.
It sounds
I'm
like
gonna
a
have to
poor
Google that
country
after this
currency.
session.
I think that was the name of it, but I'm not sure.
Zoobles. I would so love if that was just something that like you thought it was, but it totally isn't. Like it's totally not what you remembered it.
Well, anyway, continuing. I had these entertainment kind of educational games. They came in these 6 green discs. There was one about space. There was one with electricity and circuits and such. There was one with light too. That was really fun. And there's some other games you could put in the numbers or put in the words. So standard hit stuff. Didn't even get into the
Nice.
web games. Well, actually, remember when PopCap was still around?
PopCap.
PopCap games, they're still
website, right?
around. They're still around.
Uh,
PopCap
Are they like
games,
a
I'm pretty
website?
sure, are responsible for, what's that, Peggle?
Ambajul.
Really, Peggle.
Yeah,
I believe
Ambajul.
so.
Well,
That's super interesting.
before EA came in and killed some of their best games, cough cough, I remember playing one of their games on this website called Coffee Break Arcade. It was a source of many.
I honestly never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a great place where I could play a lot of different online games. But then I found World of Warcraft. No, just kidding. Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And now that is a game I remember fondly.
Oh yes, I ended up clocking at least 6,000 hours as a kid just playing that
Holy
game.
crap. 6,000 hours. That is insane. I think I spent about as much as that in Pokemon as a kid. Through all the Pokemon games.
Back at the end of high school, I actually ended up being in a internship program with the local computer store, RB Technologies, and while I was working
God.
there, they helped me find out the actual total play time across all of my Pokemon games up until then, and I had amassed 20,000 hours. I had amassed a true master's degree in Pokemon.
Holy crap. Too bad, like, it goes through the algorithm and everything, and by the end of it, it just says, wow, you're sad, aren't you?
Indeed.
Speaking of those old-timey games, I think my introduction to video gaming was actually the Sega Saturn, and it was with Sonic.
Oh.
Which is really ironic because these days I find myself hard pressed to play a Sonic game.
Yeah.
Not to say I dislike the games in general. There are a few that are pretty good. But that was definitely my introduction. It was actually my mother's Sega Saturn, and she basically never played it. I think her mum gave it to her as a gift, and she just never played it. And
Oh.
she used to sit me down in front of it, and here's me, like, I don't even think I ever beat the Green Hill Zone, like, because I was that young. I didn't even know. But I was having a fucking blast, man. Like, I was like, oh, Sonic's so cool.
You had to have at least
then-
gotten to Knuckles.
I don't even think so, dude. I think I was that terrible. I was so young. But I think the first console, I mean, quote unquote console, that I had was actually a Game Boy Pocket. You remember those?
Oh.
They were like,
Oh
they were
my
like the
gosh.
smaller version of the original Game Boy that, you know, they were monochrome still. They had no color or anything like that. And it
Game
had
and Watch
the original.
times.
It had the original Mario on it. It
Oh
was
my
like
God.
revolutionary at the time because it was like handheld Mario. What? Whoa! You know. And I remember spending so many hours in that game, and I think I never beat it, but I got really close because there's like 8 worlds in that one or something. And I think I got to the 8th one, and I got so mad and I never beat it. I
You had
actually
to
had
have
to
been
have
at
my cousin
Bowser.
beat it for me.
Oh,
What's
that's
that?
the worst.
See, that's really funny though. It's ironic because Sonic turned out to be one of my least favorite characters, but Bowser became one of my favorites. I think
Oh,
his character
God.
design is just so awesome. In general, I think he's such a well-designed character. He's really colorful and he's really unique. There's like nothing else like him.
Is that why I
And
became?
so I've got like.
Sorry.
So go ahead.
No, is that why you became a lion?
I mean, there's similarities, isn't there? It's kind of like a lion, turtle, dragon, it's like sort of mashed together.
Huh, yeah.
But I have I think it's pretty sad. I've got 8 statues of Bowser,
Oh.
including amiibos or something. Yeah, back into my history. So that introduced me to the world of handheld gaming. And I remember at the time I got my Game Boy Pocket. You remember those Digivices and Tamagotchi?
Oh my God.
Do you remember those? Yeah,
Mine's
that's
long dead.
You know, I actually found mine recently,
Oh my
and it was
God.
just fucked. It was just completely messed
Why
up.
have you forsaken me?
I remember. I actually remember they were popular when I was in elementary school. I saw someone
Yeah.
in the boys' room just plugging in casually to a fucking wall socket, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a Digimon." I don't think it worked.
I think the 90s, the late 90s and early 2000s was the best generation for toys, those sorts of things. Because remember, it wasn't just
Gimmicky
it
toys.
was, right, yeah.
with
it had-
easily
you had,
lost pieces.
Yes, with easily lost pieces. Holy crap! Emphasize that. Holy crap! I remember my friend. He would. You remember with the original Digivice how it had the little colored border that matched the
Yeah.
color of the buttons. I remember he would have to keep buying Digivices because he'd always lose that
Oh,
little
no.
the little cover. Yeah, and he'd get so mad. He don't know how he'd lose them.
Get wrecked.
Oh my
But I always felt so bad. I actually felt so bad one day that I actually went and took the cover off mine just so he'd feel better about
Oh
it.
my god.
I regretted it immediately. I was like, this sucks.
Not to mention you
No,
probably
mine
lost
doesn't
it the
look
next day.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
probably. So those were hugely popular because they came off the cusp of Pokemon. And
Yeah.
I remember playing Pokemon, I think it was Blue, was the first one I ever played, Pokemon Blue. And it wasn't actually even mine. My friend owned it. And he let me borrow it for a day, and I ended up borrowing it for 2 months. And I completely... I caught all the Pokemon possible at the time. I did the whole missing go,
Oh, you
know,
beat
glitch.
it. Mm.
Yeah, do you remember like that was a thing back then, right? Like you didn't have the internet to look up those sort of things.
Oh my god.
So
All word of mouth.
all word of mouth, exactly. Like you'd be in the playground and be like, "Yo, guys, check out this lit as fuck fucking thing I found," you know? Because that's how I totally talked back then. I was really hip, and I remember seeing Missing No for the first time and be like, "Whoa, what if it was an actual Pokemon? This is crazy." And I showed everyone at school my hacked version with like 99 rare candies and master balls and stuff, you know.
And then Lion was tried for being a witch.
Yeah.
Witch hunts. Witch hunts in the playground.
Oh
And,
yes.
All too
Then
true of a story.
that just led me to Pokemon in general. Like I just loved Pokemon. Like I remember my mom actually bought me home bed sheets with like Pokemon
Oh my god.
Lucky.
stuff on it. It blew my fucking mind. I was like, I could sleep with a Charmander, like as an innocent kid that didn't have any backward, context or anything. But my mom was like, "Yeah, you can sleep with whatever his name is." I was like, "Whoa!" And it was so exciting. But those memories are irreplaceable. And then I think that eventually led to a meeting like a bunch of friends who also like video games, and I played things like the N64, and then I eventually got a PS1, and that's where most of my history comes from gaming. So I had like Croc and Crash Bandicoot.
Oh
and
yes.
that sort of thing. So those are freaking fantastic games. But anyway, today we're here to talk about Destiny 2, which is really exciting. Specifically, Destiny 2 on PC. It is so good to finally say that Destiny is on PC. That is so hype. I'm so excited. What do you guys think?
Oh yes. It's gonna be amazing. I promise.
It's gonna be something that is definitely gonna shake up the entire Destiny community.
For sure, absolutely. I was just absolutely blown away by the beta, and I wanted to talk about that today because I feel like this is really important in general for the Destiny 2 PC community moving forward. Is just how beautifully optimized the Destiny 2 PC beta was, and just how well it performed. I just really couldn't believe it.
I honestly cannot see myself playing console ever again.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
One
Because
member.
you and I were avid PS4 players, weren't we?
Yeah, we even tried to go for world first on the Taken King DLC, and we were pretty close.
Ooh.
We were damn close. We were world 1%. We were top 1% in the world for our group, which was so exciting.
I remember when we got to we passed Gorgoroth, and we were actually one of the first few groups in there to actually get past it, and we were already past
That's
the Death
right.
Singers before anyone else. And
That's
but
right.
we got RNG cucked on our way up to Oryx. And we were all we didn't have the DPS needed in there to get in those critical shots and being able to move throughout the boss fight, and so we were there for 3 hours longer than everyone else.
Yeah,
Oh.
but we were still 1%, and that felt incredible. And I still remember the inhuman noises that came out of our mouths when we beat it. It was just like, yes! Like, we were all just screaming
The
at the top
scene
of our
was
lungs.
truly lit.
It was it was amazing just seeing Oryx careen into that planet behind him. We were just like, whoa! Like,
It was sort of
so
surreal.
awesome.
We beat it.
It was, yeah.
Kind
And I remember the first time, because when you beat all the phases of Oryx, that final phase where he pops up at the end, and he goes to crush everyone's light, and everyone just rushed towards him, and it was just like the most epic moment. We were all screaming, firing our guns, just like,
Get him!
die! Yeah. And that's still one of my most memorable gaming experiences I think I can ever say, and I think that's really important to. And I think that says a lot about Destiny's raids in general. Like they're really super
yes.
impactful and mechanically deep, and there's a huge reward when you beat them for the first time.
Yeah.
So Tomu, you didn't play much of Destiny 1 on PS4, did you?
Well, of the time I spent, in Jeff's living room playing it, I noted that it was a good game. But
Mm-hmm.
seeing as that I wanted to use my own account and I didn't want to pay for Plus, that ended rather quickly.
Mm. So you always had the desire to play.
Oh, hell yes, dude. Being a
Yeah.
part of something bigger than yourself is always something you can aspire to.
I think I totally agree with that. And I think what really lends itself well to Destiny is that it's something that you can look at and like easily understand. When you look at someone playing it, you're like, wow, so this is just like, you know, an MMO
Oh, yes.
FPS with lots of looting. I can dig this. You know, it's like simple to like grasp.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's as simple as opening your tab, getting on your Sparrow, speeding off into the sunset. It's over before you know it, i.e. 3 years gone in a flash, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same
2-hour
time-
story, 15-minute cutscene.
Hey, man,
Yeah, that was complete crap.
you've got the experience
fine.
there. I've got my inexperience there. It's okay.
Well,
So
you're gonna have a
I'd
much
love
better
to-
experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you guys about your experiences with the PC beta. And now we all have different rigs. We all have sort of higher end rigs. But ultimately, what did you guys think? How did it perform on your computers?
Well, I'm running a i7 Skylake and a 970 NVIDIA card, and I honestly, before the beta was coming out, I had heard that the recommended specs was at least a 1070, and I was like, oh, am I not gonna be able to run this on good settings? And I was like, yeah, whatever, it'll be fine. But
Right.
beta came out, and it auto set my settings to high, and I was like, oh boy.
Here we go.
And I was just like, oh, but it's probably not gonna run well. Load into my first match, crisp max frame rate displaying on the monitor. It was beautiful. Just no
It really
tearing,
was.
no
I feel
bugginess.
like that's a really important point too. Is like when you jump into that first game, I was just like completely blown away by just how smooth everything was.
Like butter.
Yeah, like frame rate aside, like mechanically, like aiming felt great. Throwing grenades felt natural. You know, firing off a super, just moving around, it all felt great.
Really important
Which-
is that aiming felt natural. Like transitioning from PS4 to PC, no difference in aiming. Just immediately, first game, team wipe using the super. It was amazing. There was almost
Right,
as
yeah.
if I'm using a emulator, but it's not. It's the true PC release of Destiny 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just still mind-boggling to me. Like, what? It's on PC? I can get excited about this? And you know, we do have the delayed PC release, but ultimately I think it's going to be worth it. Just from what I played from beta, I'm just so excited. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Tomu, as someone who didn't play a lot of PS4 Destiny, jumping directly into the PC world of Destiny. How did it feel to you?
It sent shivers down my spine. Like, realistically speaking, we're gonna be waiting for the opportunity to play the best game of our lives. Like, come on. Also,
I can totally agree.
we're gonna
Yep.
stockpile the hell out of those freaking Pop-Tarts and Rockstars. Like, they don't have that chance. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
I just think it's such a weird, like, I know everyone has said it now, but that is such a weird combination. Who the fuck would eat Pop-Tarts with goddamn Rockstar?
Let me
Like,
tell you this, people would no care about how much time they're spending on a game.
true, true.
It's a good
But,
property to have if you have a game that you can play just hours on end and then realize, oh shit, I gotta go to work in a few hours.
Another point I wanted to bring up about that too, like, sure, it ran well on our rigs, right, because we got pretty good PC builds. But a clanmate of ours from STARLANCE by the name of Scrumpy, shout out to Scrumpy, love that dude.
He's cool.
He is freaking cool. He has a crap top though. He has a really, really bad old laptop. that he is upgrading before release, by the way, which is great.
Ooh.
But he played the beta on it, and he said it was smooth as butter. And he sent me some gameplay footage as well,
Which
from
we
his
used.
rig, which we used, and holy crap, it ran really well on a really old laptop. I think it was like 6 years old, this laptop, or something like that. But I was really blown away, and there was actually even someone uploaded footage of a MacBook, like an old MacBook, playing Destiny 2 at like nearly 60 FPS on high.
Oh yes.
Like, so I think that really says a lot about how much effort they're putting into the PC port of Destiny 2. So it's really exciting.
I'm gonna go ahead and quote who's the lead director of Bungie Studios?
Good question. I know the lead for Destiny 2 is Luke Smith.
It was Luke Smith. Luke Smith was in an interview during one of the dev streams, and he stated that the best possible experience for Destiny will be found on PC. But he wants people to play on the system that their friends are playing on, because that's where you're going to get your best experience.
Yeah, exactly right. Cannot agree
True,
with that anymore.
true.
Like, and that brings me on to my next topic. Is the whole PC versus console controversy that's been going on since PC beta. I feel like a lot of people have got defensive about their purchase for the console. Because let's be real. As soon as we started, the press came in saying like how amazing the PC beta was and how smooth it was.
Oh, good lord.
People just started getting really, really, I feel, defensive. There was lots of posts on Reddit, lots of very, very colorful opinions about it. Basically saying, it's gonna be the best experience is gonna be on PS4 because X reason,
Yeah.
But I feel like that's so close-minded when it comes to a community-driven game like Destiny 2, because we have clans, we have things like that, and I think it's true what Luke Smith said. You just need to pick a platform where your friends are going to be, and for us, that's PC. And I think that's so great that we now actually have a PC Destiny game, like to actually experience how I believe it was intended to be played. How a lot of first-person shooters are intended to be played. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Agreed.
So, with this, I wanted to bring up the topic of like the straw polls I've been seeing and things like that. So, the general consensus is that a lot of people are going to play Destiny 2 on PC, but they're playing it on console first. So I feel like the consoles are really getting what they want. They just want the people to,
But
I don't want to wait,
Yeah.
and just buy it now and jump in. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think you guys would purchase the game on another console and then play it on another console a few months later, or would you just wait?
It really comes down to the main selling point of Destiny 2 on PC for me is that when I was playing Destiny on the PS4, I never noticed much of the issues with it, because honestly, once you got past all of the actual real gripes that anyone could have with it, it's a really good game. It had its issues and bumps during development, and it had its questionably shoddy launch, and but when the DLC started coming out and the fixes started rolling, the game was, overall, it was a game. I got my money that I paid for it, spending well over 3,000 hours on it. But as the end of Destiny 1 rolled around, I started playing, a couple other games because I was just need to do something different. And
yeah, I definitely feel
That's
that.
fair.
I came back after some new content was released, and that's when I really noticed how much of a difference 30 frames per second can make.
Exactly, because this was at the point when you got your new rig, wasn't it? In between when you stopped playing Destiny.
That rig.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is also true. I had ended up building my computer after I stopped playing Destiny and was gotten heavily back into Warframe.
Actually,
But
Right, so you were playing something, that was very smooth, 60 FPS, and then jumping back to console, it was like a culture shock sort of thing.
it was just so jarring in there to like feel like something like that my eyes were missing something that I was looking at. It made it very difficult to go back to.
Yeah, and for someone like Tomu, who's primarily PC and didn't really play much of Destiny 1,
oh
it must
my
be
God.
just sort of like, oh, it's 60 FPS, that's normal, right?
It just makes me cry because I remember back to my Xbox days where you said Crash Bandicoot earlier. Well, all I had was
Right.
like Wrath of Cortex, and that was like physically feeling polygons. Okay.
Oh my god, you can count the polygons in that.
Like, we're not talking Tomb Raider polygon count here, but we're talking like. You've seen that meme, right? You know the meme. I know you know that fucking
yep.
meme. Like, who the fuck? But like, just moving back to console, knowing the PC exists, especially to me, knowing that I am a primary PC player, it's very difficult. Like, okay, I'll admit, I had a PS3 for a while. I had to play it because I didn't have a PC. But I was playing mostly like Modern Warfare 2,
Right.
which, by the way, the good COD titles top right there. Agreed? Yeah, yeah,
So
kind of.
you played Call of Duty on PS3.
Yeah, no aim assist there, suckers. Ooh.
See, that's really interesting too. Is this whole aim assist crap, right?
Yeah.
Coming into Destiny PC, we already know that there has been some controller exploits and things like that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't think Halo 3 or Halo 3 ODST even had aim assist at all, did they?
Realistically
Do you guys
speaking, did they
recall?
need it?
I don't think so, because the gunplay was so beautifully solid, wasn't it?
I mean, it also wasn't super competitive either.
It
One
did have a
thing-
lot of MLG scene though.
Oh, true.
One
Halo
thing I'll
3 at
state
least,
about
yeah.
the Destiny 2 beta is that coming into that aim assist exploit, I did end up playing a match against somebody who was more than definitely using it. And let me tell you
Right.
this, they may as well have been using an aimbot, because if they got their line of sight on you, they were already tracking your head, getting the headshots, and the gunfights were over quicker than any other gunfight I could possibly have with people who I knew weren't using it but were skilled. Because nearly
Right.
every kill coming out of this guy was a headshot.
Right.
Right, exactly.
It became quickly apparent that like something was going on here. This guy's not having any of the natural variables you would be seeing happening in every gunfight.
Right, and it was kind of like watching a nightmare when I was looking at footage of it to really see how severe it was. Right, I thought people were
Right.
boycotting a bit, just complaining that it was there. But then I went a bit deeper and I looked into it, and no, you can aim at someone's feet with a hand cannon, and it will snap to their head. like Call of Duty 4 campaign mode. You remember how it had the snapping on
Yep.
people, or like
Abuse
GTA
that.
5 console, like where you would snap onto people. It was like watching that, and I could not fathom how overpowered and ridiculous it was.
Until that
And
point.
exactly right. And I watched a whole PvP match of this guy with his hand cannon doing this. He went flawless, 38-0. And more than 60% of his kills were headshots just because of how perfect it was, aiming to that head.
Yeah.
You have the preciseness of an aim and of aiming the mouse, along with having the game automatically snap to the heads of every enemy you encounter. That is honestly just a low caliber aimbot.
Exactly, right? It's like an aimbot built into the game. Like, what the hell? Like, sure, you need a third party piece of hardware to really achieve that sort of thing. But if that's a possibility, that's going to be meta.
Yeah.
So they need to get rid of this because people will buy that to get meta if they have to.
Yeah.
And people will argue that Destiny's not a competitive game and all that. But with these changes to PvP, really focusing on 4v4s and competitive game types and
team shooting
game types, team shooting, exactly right.
They're
trying, and there's definitely an ability there to develop an excellent esports experience, and I just feel like this exploit just needs to be removed. Aim assist, I think, needs to be completely removed from PC, and I see a lot of people say, well, why don't they just have it for PvE? If it was in PvE, that would mean it's in the files of the game. People would find a way for it to work in PvP. So I definitely think it just needs to be uprooted out of the game and removed. What do you guys think?
I honestly believe that it should be completely taken out. Even in Destiny, going into PvP, with the slight amount of aim assist given because we were on controllers, it was still super strong. Like,
right.
Being able to go onto a PS4, pick up the controller, go into an or not into an esports, I'm sorry, go into a quick match against anyone.
Right.
You can honestly just aim down the sniper and pull the trigger as long as you know the little reticule goes over their head. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everything's fine. And then go into, let's say for example, any Counter-Strike on PC. It's completely different. If you aren't using surgical precision, you're going to die. You're going to suck.
That's exactly right, and I think that's a very good point too. You bring up Counter-Strike, and one thing that was a very big exploit in Counter-Strike was there was a button on controllers that would automatically snap you around 180 degrees, so that you could actually on controllers still be competitive against people using keyboard and mouse. So of course people using keyboard and mouse found a way to replicate this for keyboard and mouse, and they were just snapping around perfectly. And in a game like that, that is huge. It breaks the meta. It breaks the freaking meta, being able to just instantly snap around like that. You know, you need, like you said, you need that perfect surgeon accuracy with that sort of stuff. And I also want to bring up too that Overwatch had aim assist for controllers on the PC version during its beta, and Blizzard up and fucking removed that real quick, smart for launch. They were like, "Oh, that's gonna completely fuck everything." The comments started rolling in, people started boycotting it and stuff, so that they removed it. And I think Bungie definitely sees that it's going to be a problem. I think they'll remove it. It's really hard to say at this point.
If Bungie doesn't remove it, I immediately see issues in the Trials of the Nine, as it's Bungie during the development of Destiny, when Trials of Osiris came out, there was no achievement for going flawless because they said they would not make an achievement for something so difficult to get. That's not part of the core gameplay. But with Destiny 2, in the achievements, there's now an achievement for going flawless in the Trials of the Nine, which likely means that that going flawless now only requires 5 wins, which makes the 5 matches that you're playing even more important that you're doing your best. But if something like aim assist is still around, it's gonna actually make a lot of problems down the line, because your entire flawless attempt is going to be in jeopardy of somebody exploiting the aim assist bug.
Right. Yeah. Then that'll definitely be a problem if they don't address it. But I'm sure everyone's already heard about that, so I'd like to move on to the next thing, and that is I just don't even know how something like this exists. the polygon, the fucking polygon page where they just talk and literally I just want to really just emphasize this real quick. It's literally called "You Should Buy Destiny 2 on PS4."
That's it.
And I cannot believe that an article like this exists. I really cannot. It is so. It feels so biased. It looks like they've been paid out. Honestly, like I don't know what sort of dealings they've got on over there. But
even in their article, there was a quote where they stated that a problem that might arise in the Destiny 2 PC version is that the PvP meta might end up with hand cannons and snipers being the only viable weapon.
I wonder
It was beyond
why.
obvious.
How do you know this? How do people know this?
It was beyond obvious that whoever wrote that article never played a fucking day of Destiny.
Yeah,
because the
so
meta was
unfathomable.
snipers and hand cannons.
It is so unfathomably ridiculous. Who's to say that won't be the meta on PS4 and the PC meta will be completely different? Bungie themselves have stated the PC game will be completely rebalanced and different to the PS4 game. So who knows? And their arguments are ridiculous. They say things like this one really threw me for a loop. This is the quote from this. Destiny's superb console gunplay may not easily transition to PC. What the fuck? What? Excuse me? First-person shooters weren't made on PC originally. They were designed to be played with a mouse and keyboard. Controllers were an afterthought with this type of game.
All games that are made and released on consoles are built on PC in the first place. Consoles emulate PC programming.
And their argument for that is, but Bungie have been making games for console for X amount of years, and they've been focusing on console and stuff like that. And I just how the PS the Halo 1 port for PC was a marvel in my opinion. That game
great.
it holds up today. It's so smooth.
Graphics wise, maybe a little bit differently. I did actually go back.
Graphics wise, it's
it,
dated a lot,
but
but
it does
mechanically
still survive.
it is very smooth.
It's still up there on the same level of Crisis level of PC optimization.
Right. And he says that basically the person writing the article, he says he goes to say that the argument for playing Destiny 2 on PC is the argument for every game on PC. It's going to look better. That is true, but that's not the only argument why PC gaming is better. I don't want to get all PC master race here, because we're certainly not that. We all have consoles, we've all played console games, and we respect them for what they are. But there are so many more reasons that PC gamers play games on PC. It's not just because it looks better. That is one very important factor. But it's the social aspects of PC that consoles just have not grasped yet. You've got your Discord servers and TeamSpeak and all that sort of thing, and the easy access to information. You can just open up another window and bam, you've got information there. It's just so convenient.
Oh yeah. How could it not be convenient? I mean, look, I've got 2 screens right now. Come on.
Exactly right.
Whether or not you can't
do that with a console.
Exactly.
So, and then what I find really interesting about that too is I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos saying, you can't run Destiny on the best graphics for a PC unless you pay X amount of thousands of dollars, right? But a computer, a crap top that our friend that we just talked about earlier, he was running it just fine. It may not have been 4K, but he was running it at high at 60 FPS. And just the FPS, the fact that FPS is uncapped alone, is a big attraction, in my opinion, because it doesn't just help with the game looking nicer. It actually helps with aiming and things like that. It helps with how immersed you can get into the experience.
Right.
On top of that, having access to more frames, it really opens up what we can do media-wise and the community. It makes it so that any content developer that any of us could have been watching during Destiny 1, if they had access to full 60 frames, imagine just how amazing some of the montages we could have been watching.
Right. Exactly. And I have to say, I really don't like the argument that you can't build a PC as cheap as a console that can play Destiny 2.
That is wrong.
That is such crap. I've been helping a few friends in our clan here, build their PCs, and you can build a good PC for about $560 odd, right? Which is how much you'd probably pay for
starting up a console
with some games. Yep, exactly right.
Controllers, accessories.
But
It's $500
Exactly.
for the Destiny 2 PC, sorry, not PC, Destiny 2 PS4 bundle.
Right, exactly. For that exact amount, maybe a little bit extra, you could have 60 FPS, the social aspects of PC, and just like the gorgeous graphics that PC provides as well.
Not to
And you
mention that
may not get
Bungie lays
4K
out.
at that build, but you'll get a really nice resolution, at least 1440p, provided you have the right monitor and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And even to those that don't want to mess with their own computer parts, guess what? You can pay someone to do it for you.
You really can. You can just pay someone to do it for you.
And often
And-
for still similarly lower prices.
Not to mention, being in a PC community, for example, being in the clan of STARLANCE, everyone has a skill set. Everybody has their own things that they're strong at that we can all help each other with. So just because
Right.
you don't know how to build a computer, someone within typing away, just being able to type at them, will eventually even be able to help you get the information you need to know in order to pursue it yourself.
Right.
Computers
Exactly.
aren't that impossible to build. They're honestly oversized kindergartner puzzles that are very daunting and expensive.
Yes.
So
Very
that's
expensive Legos.
yes. And it's
Love it.
honestly just putting a wire through here, connecting it there, and making sure everything's hooked up and proper before you turn it on.
Or electrocute yourself.
Honestly, the hardest part about building a PC is the thermal paste positioning. I really
Yes.
feel like that's the hardest part. And I mean, there's YouTube tutorials, and people are like, oh, but it's such a like a huge effort to do it. But it's like, it's an effort you put in to get something amazing out of it. Like, everyone that builds their PC has this great experience. Everyone has their story about how they built their PC. It's like, oh man, I didn't know how to do it, and then I googled it, and I just went through and I just did it, and wow, I just I can never regret it. And
When Tomu
This is
was living with me, I put together 2 computers right then and there and fixed up his, and it didn't take too long. It was less than half an afternoon. And there was no feeling like watching as we all sat around and pressed the power button and see the beast roaring to life.
Never you mind that we
Yeah.
were slightly drunk at the time, but that's a different story. Doctor.
And even articles are saying, budget gaming PCs from the last 3 years can run games at higher detail levels and higher frame rates than anything consoles can provide now, coming out now. And that really just goes to show how powerful a platform PC really is, and how limitless it really is, with how many new things come out all the time and all that. But people are like, oh, but I have to pay an arm and leg for these pieces. It's just like, you really don't. Like, when you buy a PC, that's a good investment for like maybe 3 to 5 years of your gaming career. Just
Oh,
paid
yes.
for, and bam, you're set. No membership fee either. I might remind people, you don't have to pay to play online on PC, which is like a huge thing for me. I don't want to pay an extra $90 just so I can access the internet on my PS4 and play with my friends. It is ridiculous.
Who wants that?
I don't understand that, to be quite honest. And
Another
and-
thing is that
Mhm.
if you go and look at any competitive member of the Destiny community, be it PvE or PvP, all of them have
Mhm.
stated that they're switching to PC from PS4.
As
That's right.
soon as it comes out.
as soon as it comes out. Exactly. I just feel like the people who are complaining are the loudest, and that's the thing. Like, you're not going to hear people say the positive things, right? Because it's self-justified. It's there. People can see it, right? You're not going to hear the praise. You're gonna hear the bitching and the complaining.
The controversy
community.
brought up by the people who are
Exactly
pissed.
right. And another thing too is that people think, oh, it's just a crappy outsourced port for PC, right?
No.
But Bungie has actually clarified that the PC version of the game is actually not outsourced. It's actually a partnership.
Oh,
They're actually
yes.
working side by side with Vicarious Visions for this PC port, and it has paid off for them a lot. It looks great. I'm still like, I know we keep saying it, but the PC port of Destiny 2 looks fucking fantastic.
If you haven't
Let's be
seen it,
real.
you need to go watch a video after this.
Go pull up a video and just turn it all the way up to 4K if you can, or just 1080p, and just watch and just be blown away by how smooth it is. We've got our own gameplay up as well. You can check that down in the description below and check that out, because it's so fucking smooth. You really got to see the difference. But in saying that too, a lot of people don't actually really care about frame rate. And I feel like that's two things. One, they actually genuinely don't care, or two, they just haven't seen the difference, and when they do, they're like, whoa, okay, wow, you know? Like, because when we were playing Destiny 1, it was like you said before, Jeff, where it was like a thing of, you just sort of get used to it, and it just becomes the norm. Then you transition to something like PC, and you come back, and you really see the difference. And I don't know about you, but 30 frames these days, when I'm actually sitting there on a PS4 game, it actually gives me a headache.
Yep.
Because I feel like my brain isn't seeing what it's supposed to. And I know that sounds so stupid, and that's probably not the case with a lot of people, but that's just a personal reflection of mine that I really notice with things that are under 60 FPS these days.
And instead goes from playing a game to dealing with it so you can actually play it later on and not get the same headache out of it.
Like, it's very similar to me in field of view. It's typically something that's on computer games only, like PC. You change the field of view or you get a headache. Minecraft has it even. Come on. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, field of view is a big thing too. Like, we haven't even mentioned that is the customizable nature of PC games too, right? You can add mods, you can add, you know, UI overhauls, this sort of thing.
And let me tell you what, you could customize everything in Destiny 2. All the way down to weather shading.
A big thing for me too is anti-aliasing. That is not on PS4. Even on PS4 Pro, it is not on it at all. If you look at any Destiny 2 PS4 gameplay, it looks blocky. It looks pixelated on the edges of everything because it doesn't have that nice smoothing that anti-aliasing adds to the game. I feel like we're coming off as really like PC master racy here, but honestly, this is just the facts, people. Like, just really go and watch the difference. It is huge, and it just makes us so excited as one of the PC only clans. It's really exciting to see that we're actually getting a PC port that, one, is getting balanced differently, and two, is looking and is optimized beautifully so that a lot of people can play it, which is awesome.
Oh, yes.
So, I think that about wraps up our thoughts on the PC front of things. So I thought we'd go into something a bit more weird here. Sure. Is that what are we planning to do for the 2-month gap that we have to fucking wait? Right? Because it's hell. We're already dodging spoilers like crazy on YouTube and Reddit. We're unsubscribing from Reddit for the time being, just so that we don't see anything pop up on our phones or on our computers or anything. So what have you guys got planned for in between?
Oh, I think it's the oh god.
I just love the dead silence, right? Because it's like, what can we play? Because it's like, that was so fun and so like smooth and beautiful, and it's like, it's ruined everything else for us at the moment, I feel.
Well, let's just go down the list of what options we used to have before Destiny 2.
You know, it's pretty sad, but me and another clanmate of ours, we spent 9 hours in Halo 5 Forge on the PC recreating Javelin 4 from the Destiny 2 beta so that we could keep playing a Destiny 2 style map in between.
It's not a bad map, I'm going to admit that. It's not a bad map.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great map.
Yeah,
very nice.
It was really fun putting it together, and that's been quite fun. Another one is obviously PUBG, right? PUBG is really popular at the moment.
It's a really fun shoot and loot of a different caliber.
Right.
But we could
So
go.
we'll have to find something.
We can go all the way back to STARLANCE's origins, and we tried to play some Warframe, but they're just Digital Extremes. They do a good job putting out constant free content on that game, but they also
do.
sort of decide to take the wheel, as I guess you could put it, and try to do
Yeah.
their own thing without consulting their player base, and make massive changes.
I totally see that. Yeah, they do
And-
make very drastic changes constantly to the game.
It's honestly off-putting when being a veteran of the game, you're so used to one system, and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna shit can it right now, and if you guys like it, well, then we're gonna keep working on it. If you guys don't like it, well, you can either keep playing or go find a different game.
Oh man.
Yeah, well,
So,
I love Digital Extremes. They're a funny group. They do a good job with their dev streams. They do a good job with all of their content. Just constant improvements being made to that game, but
yeah.
they just change everything on a whim so often that it's difficult to stay with it.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this first episode of StarPod. We had fun getting a bit nostalgic and a bit complaining about the PC version and the console wars and the controversy with this Polygon shitpost. And obviously, it's just a big shitpost.
Polygon is just not credible anymore.
I just don't know why they would put this out. It's so controversial, and I think it's designed to really tick off PC players. I think it's designed to be really
Like clickbaity?
Clickbaity. Yeah, exactly right.
Oh, good lord.
So if that is their idea, then holy fuck, it worked.
It did. It really did.
Well, I mean, they can all collectively stick their thumbs up their asses and enjoy their console destiny at 30 frames per second. And if they're playing on PS4, they can enjoy their one console exclusive sniper that changes element on reload. Whoop-de-doo.
Aw.
I'm glad that people are going to be having fun with console, and I'm also glad that people are going to have fun on PC. So, again, thank you all so very much for watching. Next week, we'll be back talking about dodging spoilers, exotics, and the amazing soundtrack of Destiny 2. We hope you'll join us for that next week. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye,
See ya.
everyone.